What's up, pretty gang? It's your favorite nail tech Peaches back with another video, and today we're not just doing acrylic toes. I'm showing you the pedicuring process. This is my client's before and after. She's very regular, okay? She comes about once a month, once every other month, gets a pedicure every time. I'm going to show you the steps for that. Before we get into it, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, notifications on. Follow me on social media. I'm in Sacramento if you want to book an appointment. Everything you need to know to save money is in the description below. We got a not polished code, so remember, use it or lose it. Okay, we got a month to see how we do. Follow me on my Amazon storefront and my personal page if you wish. So now that we got all that out of the way, this is what she came in with. Unfortunately, she did kind of kick the corner up of her real nail. No harm, no foul. I guess it's not really that big of a deal. So we're gonna go ahead and continue. This particular client is getting a basic acrylic pedicure. Okay, so what that means is this is just a basic, the very basic of a pedicure. So she has already been soaking while I got everything prepared. I went ahead and used cuticle remover on her toenails and her cuticles, and then I go ahead with a scrub or a scrubber, I should say, foot scrubber, and I am going to go ahead and scrub her down. So during this step, this is like pretty self-explanatory. No, I don't wear gloves, you guys. I don't like water in my gloves. If you've ever done a pedicure, then you would know once they get wet, the gloves rip. So it's honestly not cost effective at all to keep replacing gloves for one pedicure. I don't want to hear about it. She don't have no ick, no yuck, no none of that. So it's fine. It's not any worse than a handshake. Okay. So cuticle pushers. So these are the cuticle pushers I use on my Amazon storefront. Throughout this video, you guys will notice that I am going to have pop-ups of the things that I use that you can find on Amazon for those of you who are not near nail supply stores or who need a cost-effective, source of like implements and tools to start your pedicures and things like that. Now, after we scrub the bottom of the foot, we are going to go ahead and push her cuticles back. The cuticle remover needs to soak a bit, so that's why I go ahead and scrub the bottom of her foot as it's soaking in. Now, excuse me guys, you need to be delicate with this process because she's getting acrylic toes. If there's something that is a little bit too like stuck to her nail plate, I'm not going to go in too hard because I am going to remove any extra dead skin along the way with my e-file. But if you were going to do a regular polish, then sometimes it just needs a little extra love and care, so you can go ahead and let it soak and come back to it later. So this particular client does have an area on her foot where literally on the ball of, not the ball of her foot, the heel of her foot has like extra dead skin, but just like in one area. She said her mama got it, her granny got it, she got it, and that can happen. So just so you guys know, things like that can also be genetic. The way your feet look is usually genetic. I mean, unless you had a significant injury or on medications or something like that, I'm sorry to tell you, but your feet is your feet. That's the feet you're gonna have, so take care of them for life, okay? So this is a pretty easy process. I'm showing you guys from rooter to the tutor, you know what I'm saying? So this is pretty much non-stop, and the actual pedicuring part of an acrylic pedicure is very short, right? So this service runs around, let me see, how much do I charge for this? Hold on, y'all. I think I did one today. Deluxe. No, that's a big toe acrylic. Hold on, you guys. I'm like on my website trying to check. Okay, anyways, this probably runs people, I want to say like around $65 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Yep, $60. So this particular service, I charge $60. Acrylic toes by themselves was already $50. So essentially, you're pretty much getting the pedicure part for like an additional $10, if that makes sense. I don't see nothing wrong with charging it on the cheaper side because, as you can see, the pedicure itself is like literally about 5 minutes. There's no scrubs, there's no foot masks or anything like that. If the client wants that, they're gonna have to go ahead and book a deluxe. Okay, now keep in mind that this process, it needs to be swift. You don't need to be they don't need to soak for ever in a day. I have this service booked for an hour and 25 minutes, okay, with an additional 5 minutes as like a buffer, and just in case, you know what I'm saying? So basically an hour and a half for this service for acrylic toes and a pedicure. That should just kind of put in perspective that you don't necessarily have to charge a lot if you're doing a service that can be done over and over, and that is just literally in and out. Okay, so I'm just repeating the steps on the other foot. We're pushing her cuticles back. I do not use nippers, y'all. I repeat, I do not use nippers. I don't condone that. I'm in here in California. That's not something that we're really supposed to do. The problem with nippers is that they're used inappropriately a lot. And so that can cause a lot of issues, right? And then on top of that, a lot of times the dead skin that people are trying to nip away is actually the eponychium, right? And it's not actually cuticle skin at all, or dead skin. So I don't condone that, because a lot of people don't know the difference between live skin and dead skin. And if someone is a diabetic, ooh baby, that's gonna cause some motherfucking problems. Okay, so I take her feet out of the tub, right? So after I do all the cleaning and things like that, I let her soak while I clean up a little bit, and then now I'm going ahead and making sure I dry everybody good. Give them a really good pat down in between the toes, all around, because the last thing you want is for people's feet to stay wet, because that can cause issues further down the line. Like, obviously it's not going to be a big deal here at this appointment, but it is going to be weird to work on wet feet. And there are some people that have issues with, like, their skin will literally fall off the bone. Basically, if your feet are too wet, too sweaty, things like that, it just eats at your skin, and we don't want that. Okay, so dry her down, and then I am going to plop this towel right underneath the towel under her, right? I get towels provided to me by my suite. They wash towels, they give them back to me when I need them. So you guys did not see me clip or file the toenails, because we are preparing for acrylic toes, which means we want to keep the length that we got. All right, so, oh, what happened to my pop-up? Okay, I had a pop-up here that showed the sanding bands and the e-file that I use. You can find that on my Amazon storefront as well. I might have to go in and add it, so you guys will probably actually see that. Again, a lot of stuff you can find on my Amazon storefront. This is a Melody Susie e-file. I believe I did a video somewhere way a long time ago on my channel. I actually rock with this. It's a portable one. I pretty much have it right attached to my cart, and honestly, it is very, very low budget, but it does the job. Okay, it really does the job. I use a Koopa for the hands and this for the feet, because I don't want to say it's not a big deal, but it's not a big deal. So after we do all of the filing and the clipping and the cleaning and the blah blah blah, the pedicure part, you can see 7.5 minutes into the 1.5-hour service, we're already prepping and we got these toes on lock. So that should kind of show you, right, with the service that I have here. And most people want, like, you know, French tip on top of that, or, you know, if they want a little bit of bling. So on top of the $60, I'm making a little bit extra. So today at this service, my client paid $50, and she did tip me, I believe. She tipped me a little, you know, doing a little something. This particular client drives from the Bay Area to me. I'm in Sacramento, so she drives about 1.5 hours to come to her appointments. Okay, so she did try and see somebody else out in the Bay. I don't know if she went to the city. I don't think she went to the city. I think she went to what was near her, because I want to say she's in Oakland. So she just was not happy. She came back. Okay, so she's been back a couple times now. We're gonna go ahead and prime with Protein Bond by Young Nails. Okay, we're gonna do it 2 times because that's what Young Nails say to do. And then we're gonna get right into the application. Now I'm only gonna show the application on one foot. Okay, the color we're using by Not Polished Candy Yum Yum, because it's not polished, not nothing. Y'all already know. I don't know why it says Candy Yam Yam on their site, but to be honest with you guys, sometimes Not Polished do be changing names. They be changing colors. So some of the acrylics you might see me use in the past might not be that color anymore. I've reached out a couple of times about it, and to my knowledge, the last thing they said was because they sell in such bulk to nail salons, it's much easier to change the powder to match the polish versus the polish to match the powder, which, I mean, it kind of does make sense. So do not be surprised if sometimes one of your favorites might have slightly changed. You know, we're just gonna move along with it, and we find another color to replace what that was. Okay, so you can see in this particular instance, I am going ahead, I am doing this application pretty much in one bead, because it's not like she got no, you know, she don't got no ragged feet or anything like that that's hindering anything. She don't have any you know, no, what do you want to call that? She's not in need of a transformation or anything like that. So yeah, we're gonna do this in one bead, smoothing and pulling and pushing. You guys have seen me do acrylic toes on my channel quite often, so this part I did kind of edit a little bit out of it, if that makes sense. Now, if you guys need some extra help, I do have more in-depth and detailed acrylic toes videos on my channel. I mean, this one is still kind of showing everything, but you know what I mean. So at this point, when you're putting acrylic on, you can see this is 10 minutes out of the hour and a half appointment, right? You want to make sure that the pace that you're moving is within the constraints of whatever time that you've set. I know a lot of people set their pedicures at about 2 to 3 hours. I personally think that that is that's a lot. That is kind of a long time. We want to reduce those times because we want to get to the point where this is just second nature. You see what I'm saying? So again, this is done as an overlay. We do not use nail tips because nail tips ain't shit. They cause injury, they cause problems. I'm telling you, ask anyone who's gotten tips on their toes. I can guarantee you they can tell you about some sort of injury they had. Even if it's not a lot, they've had something, okay? Just because it's not practical. And honestly, I'm just anti-nail tips for toes, right? So we're going to do it as an overlay. And because she does have an ample amount of toenail there, there's not too much I have to do. You just need to make sure the bead is the right consistency so that when you lay it down, you can just mold it to how you need it, right? We're going to tuck the cuticle areas in, and we're going to use our brush to sharpen those edges so it's so much easier for filing, all right? So at this point in time, you should be pretty much thinking about, okay, now keeping your eye on the time and thinking about, what's next. Like, is this drying appropriately? You want to always be ahead about 2 steps or so. So at this point in time, if a client says, oh, I want to add X, Y, and Z, we don't need to say, yeah, of course we can do that. We'll say, hey babe, we'll see what time permits, right? Because although we do want to get that extra money, if we're taking a really, really long time to do stuff and then we're adding other stuff mid-service, we don't never want to jeopardize the person after us, okay? So if you do happen to be running late and you know this, right? Let's say at this point, we were at the 45-minute mark, right? And I'm just now getting acrylic on. Well, we're going to be cutting it close. So at 45 minutes, right, out of an hour and a half, that's like what? We have an additional 40 minutes left or something like that. I'll be telling the next client, hey boo, I need a couple extra minutes for cleanup, or hey, I know your appointment's at 1 p.m., but at 1 p.m. we will be processing payment and I'll be cleaning up. So do you mind giving me about 5 extra minutes or so I can get that done and be cleaned up for you? Most people are going to be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, that's fine or whatever. And you can be able to move along. But at that point, that don't mean relax. No, that means, come on, put the, what they call that? Put the pedal to the metal, right? And we want to keep going. Those type of situations, they should light a fire up under your ass, and you should be able to kind of get it done. It's going to make you sweat. It's going to make your stomach bubble up. It's going to make you, you know what I'm saying? It's going to make you work for sure. But, we got to get it done, and it's going to show you you know what? I can do this. I don't have to take my time, because I know a lot of people, they do charge, saying oh, I take my time. This is just what I'm hearing from, clients. They've come to me from all over, whatever, that it's okay to take your time, but sometimes there is a amount of time where they feel like it's a little bit unnecessary. So this is why I always encourage you guys to work on your time, because although we are taking our time, that doesn't have to be equivalent to moving slowly. We should be moving our hands. You see, my hands are always moving, even if we're talking or whatever. And this should just be a process. This you should be eat, sleep, shit. You know what I'm saying? This is what we do, especially if this is a service that you offer and that you are gung-ho on. Now, if you're new, and you need to let people know that. And I think it helps when people know what they're going into. On my site, I use Square, and I do give people an estimate of how long they're going to be there, and I do have it written down hey, this is the max time that you will be here, depending on it. Everybody has different circumstances, blah, blah, blah. So it can make it a little bit hard when clients, they don't even have a time, a possible time limit. So just keep that in mind as you're thinking about booking people and scheduling and moving forward with that, okay? So with that, we're working on the pinky toe, and we're moving. At this point, we're about 15 minutes in. Personally, for me, I would say as far as application, it's going to be about 10 minutes per foot for a non-reconstruction. With the reconstruction, we'll say 15 to 20 minutes, because depending on how severe the issue is and what do I need to do, is the acrylic drying appropriately. So regularly, I'd say about 10 minutes per foot. The filing, that would probably be another 5 to 10 minutes per foot. So right there, that's already at least 30 to 40 minutes just for the base alone. Then we've got the 5 to 10 minutes for the pedicure. We'll say even 15 just because if it's a deluxe. And then the last 10 minutes for all the polishing, French tip, all that. So we got to move, okay? So, oh, here it is. Yeah, okay, makes sense. So there's the file and the sanding bands I was telling you guys about. I use medium grit zebra sanding bands. I get these from my local nail supply. I used to get them online, but you guys know me, as I always say, I don't like waiting for things to arrive. If I need something, I like to go to the store and go get it. So those are pretty much the specs on that. I have used zebra sanding bands for so long. And then these files, I will end up inserting a picture. You guys might already see the picture, but currently I don't see it. Same 80 zebra sanding band, y'all. 80 zebra files is what I use for overlays and for toes. They have a really great grit, but they're not as gritty as black files. The black files you guys see me use on hands, because you don't want to accidentally cut somebody. If you do, we do our blood spill routine if necessary, if it's a bad cut. And if it's not that bad, you know, we're going to spray it down with some alcohol spray and put pressure, stop the bleeding. If the bleeding stops, we can continue. You know what I'm saying? Unless they're diabetic, then baby girl needs to seek for real medical care, okay? So at this point, we're just shaping them, making sure everything is good to go. This is the easy part, because once we've already cleaned them up with the e-file, this is just going to shape them right up. Now we want to make sure our enhancements look realistic and not like you know, piece of gum, you know, chicle. We don't want no chicle toes. And of course, attention to detail. And this is what's taking up the rest of the excess time at this moment in time. Now keep in mind, like I said, I'm not showing you guys the other foot. So at this point, this is 17 minutes. So we'll say we've been working on this foot for what, about 10 minutes now. So depending on the circumstances, some people's stuff take way less time than others. And if it takes less time, then guess what? I get a break. I get to go run errands, which is why I don't necessarily put lunches and breaks into my day, because for the most part, like if people have gapping in where they're booking, like let's say there's like a 40-minute gap, there's no service on my page that's 40 minutes, 45 minutes, but you see what I'm saying? And then if I finish early or there's a cancel, boom, there we go. So after all is said and done, I go ahead and I spray down some, you know, cleansing spray. I wipe them down real good, get all those dusties up out of there, and then we're on our way to top coating. Now, if we weren't doing a pedicure, I would spray them down with this cleansing alcohol spray first. You need to do that. Do not never touch nobody's feet without spraying them down, just for cleanliness purposes. And this is a Koopa top coat gel. Love this stuff. You can see the bottle has been through it. It has been back and forth. I keep refilling the bottle, but I need a new bottle because it look a mess. It look ghetto as hell. I don't know how everyone keeps all their shit so clean all the time with so much everything everywhere. Like, it's impossible, but you know, here we are. It's okay. What's next? Oh, massage. So we about to get into the massage. Okay, now the oil that I use, here we go. I love kukui nut oil. This is what I use. It's on my Amazon storefront. You can see I've purchased it 6 times, just that one alone. I usually buy the double pack because, you guys, I use this on myself personally. Okay, this lotion is Jergens, so it smells really good, and I just go ahead and I rub Miss Mama's down. I've been known to give really good massages since nail school. I love how it is. I love how it smells. Like, I give pride in doing it. It honestly kind of, well, I can't say what it looks like, you know. If you're grown, maybe you can guess what it reminds me of. Yeah. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoy this video. It was very great to make it. I'm in the process of editing a whole bunch of shit because I'm going to Vegas. So follow me on my personal page if you guys want to see that. I will probably post something here. You better say what you want to say.
She's the greatest nail tech in the universe.
Y'all know he be up my ass trying to say that. This is the finished product, of course. And you know what? I'm going to see you guys in the next video.